aliens did that, I think. Okay, gonna do this. Well, he showed up right away, like to the left of me. And he's standing in this blue suit. You know, it's like a jumpsuit with the zipper in front. It's navy blue. Maybe a little lighter than navy. It's like metallic stripes on the sides, legs, arms. There's a triangle on the left. The triangle was the metallic, was the actually golden rim. You know, there's like it's almost like wings at the bottom, and then on top there's this it's like they draw sometimes a rocket in a form of like triangle, but it mostly looks like a star. I can draw it to you later for you later. And he says I'm on a special space command. It's the alliance between groups that serves the space army for negotiation and protection of this solar system and beyond. That took me when I went through the Central Sun portal. I came here with the, you call it mission, I call it just wanting to help.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I see him on a ship. It's an interesting one. It's dark gray metal. It zooms through the portal, just comes out of the sun. Imagine all the center of the sun. And it has like two triangles connected with each other. And that forms a ship, spaceship. In the
Like
middle,
the like hexagram.
imagine two triangles are kind of like this and this, just put together, fit in.
Yeah. Okay.
But they have 5 levels, 5 floors, so it's pretty big. And they're all human-looking beings with like large, dark green eyes, very large. That goes on the side. Like topaz, maybe that's the stone would be like that's the color. Very deep, it's almost like crystal type eyes, crystalline structure. And they have this very white skin, almost translucent type skin. Nose is almost like non-existent. It's very like tiny, sticking out a little. Ears are kind of flat. There's like not like our ears, just holes. And on top they wear some protective like energy round, like cosmic type of you know what cosmonauts wear when they go to space, but this one looks like glass, completely all glass, but it's actually energy, multi-layered energy that they use for protection, because their head, it's almost like the most important part of the body, or just like our consciousness located in there, is connected through the helmet by using the helmet to the spacecraft. So the spacecraft, it's interesting. I see there's a room, and they have this big screen. It's not even on the wall. It's like hanging in the middle of the room. On one side and above, there's like a big round table. It's an interesting. It's some metal that we don't have on Earth. It's like gold mixed with something grayish, golden gray, like together. Can't really describe it. It goes in stripes almost. And on one side of the screen, you see it's almost like they take data from all the 248 humanoids on this ship, and they kind of like
I'm sorry,
it's a chart.
how many?
248 of those, like him, on the spacecraft they're in.
Yeah.
And it's I see like it's some numbers, but it's not like the numbers we use on Earth. It's just different. But I don't even know what it is. I mean, it's like a stick with the a round on top, and then it has like cross at the bottom. It's like symbol science, but the science, as I understand, give the system the vibrational kind of what the vibration of each individual is, and then at the bottom it like calculates what kind of vibrational field energy they all have together, and according to this energy level they can do different things with the spacecraft. Like they can cloak it, or they can go into the free energy, and they can also go into the crystal energy engine. It's almost like there are two engines here, because I see at the very bottom it's split up into halves, and one has like a tube, like a glass tube going around, and there's a blue liquid, and that's a liquid crystal. And then another one has, it's like I don't see it, but I perceive this a propeller type energetic things, because when I look at it, it's like multiple layers of discs spinning in different directions, and by that they propel the whole huge spacecraft. But they it's like depends on the and that the whole thing, when they do free energy thing, they somehow activated by the vibration that they all have on the spacecraft, and it always fluctuates. As I understand, depending on which portal they're going through, they have to adjust it, and that's when they use those helmets on their heads too. And on the other side of the ship, it's like the whole universe map. It's like sketch of the universe, which is pretty interesting, because the way they draw galaxies is a bit different, because they put like tiny little stars in an oval kind of circle. Then they put the number in the middle, like they calculate which galaxy by number. The numbers are totally different. I've never seen such thing before. This one almost looks like a triangle, and it's got like a stick in the middle, and the stick has some different S, kind of like one is like this way, another one the opposite. I don't know, but I feel like that's the numbers, or maybe each letter has the name of the galaxy. Who knows?
Oh,
Something like this.
so that means like he was really big deal there, no?
They came from a different universe.
Yeah.
They definitely did, because this universe got captured by Nazi Tolwites, Nordics, Pleiadians, that became part of the family. Mm, because they became hybridized. And they changed the structure of their DNA basically, and that's why they're like, right now we see them, it's almost like hard to distinguish in between because they're all look-alike type thing. And so I see him come, and then I see the ship. It's like they've done something, because I see like 5 different round spacecrafts, and they come from nowhere. They just appear. They're metallic in structure. They on top, it kind of sticks out a bit. And I see, when I scan through, I see draconians inside. They're very dark, like they're green, very tall, muscular, huge legs, little tiny head, and vicious looking. Sure. They're like alpha draconians. And they just, you know what they did? They circled it around with 5 spacecrafts, and they kind of like start shooting out. It's almost like plasma thing, because that material that shoots out, it's like bright yellow, transparent, and it holds the spacecraft, and it like penetrates it, and it's almost like it freezes it. That the consciousness inside cannot work together with the consciousness of the ship anymore. And they took down by this moment, like unexpectedly. And that's when their vibration went down as all together, as a group of
By
two.
surprise.
Yeah, like a tiny, like when you get scared for a second, somebody jumps in front of you.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's actually one of their tactics to lower the vibration and grab whatever spaceship comes. And they came to monitor the what's going on here, just kind of like check it out, because this universe, he says, started shrinking, started changing its color almost, because he says each universe has a color. It's like its own healthy color, and this color started becoming unhealthy, which is gray, and he says dark matter pollution. I think he refers to the black goo, that is nanotechnology that the Germans would use. Yeah, he says yes, exactly. He says we call it dark matter. And they just got inside, and I see this spacecraft and Alpha Draconis, like in there. It's not even like a hangar, it's just an underground cave type thing, and it's standing right there. That's where they took it. It's some sort of technology. They got it fixated by their plasma beams, and they brought like this. It's like escorted it to the underground cave on Alpha Draconis, and I see it standing there. But then they pulled the bodies out, and it's a lot of them. 48, and there's some lab there. There's because I'm walking through some underground, which is all made out of like brown rock, and then it's dark, 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 but then you see bright light. Like it's a perfectly round tunnel with bright light, and then that leads to huge lab, like a stadium, huge. That's what I mean. It's just big. And it's got glass, like it divided into rooms, but I can see through the
so
walls are absolutely transparent. Like imagine the doors open, and there's like
I'm
a,
sorry.
yes.
And I'm also my brother's camera is like going off and on, off and on, off and on.
Mm,
Now
you
I
mean
think now it's good.
like he gets frozen or he gets disconnected or?
Yeah, the camera gets just disconnected and then go again. It just happened 3 times now.
Yeah, I think it's because, they're trying to interfere because we're getting to the actual. Uh,
Yeah, I
we
hope
can
so.
we can call them. Let me tell him, his subconscious, to call them all. So he lined them up. There's like three big alpha draconians right here. They're green, and the shorter ones, they're more like darker green mixed with yellow, kind of like swampy color. So they're standing up, but these are the tall ones are in charge, and this is just helping whatever they tell them to do, and he just throws them. I tell him he can make them smaller too because we're really tall. He says that's okay. I froze them. He put them in some containers that resemble, how they make clones in type thing. Okay, let me do this next. So I start, yeah, I'm right now there. I'm at the door opens, there's like a big rectangular room. Like, I can only compare it to the size of a stadium, they play soccer or whatever. But the stadium is round, this one is rectangular, and then it's divided into like 8 huge rows, and 8 rows are divided by 12. It's like a grid system of some sort, and the walls are transparent, lightish green, but like glass. The interesting thing, when I look like at all of them, I see through, but then when I walk into the room where they put your brother's body, I just don't really see through the walls anymore. Like they become just rather white green kind of color, like the color of the glass of a bottle of champagne type thing, like that kind of color. And they put him down. So there's just like a table, but it's a bed, but it's not a bed. Those beds that you can like lift up and it goes down and they can mold into a seat. I, they put
Yeah,
him in this
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing, and he's in a lying position, and I see them like taking the suit off. Helmet actually disappeared on its own because I think they would only wear it when on the spacecraft, but since it's energy and it's made out of their energy, just goes back into their essence, I guess. And I see his face. It's very like long with those dark green eyes. All the mouse is almost nothing, just like asleep. Because they don't eat or anything. And he's starting to open his eyes, but there's this bright light. It opens up. It's like it's closed. It's a rectangular, and it shines this fluorescent green, crazy fluorescent light that hurts your eyes type thing on him, and puts him back to this kind of sleeping mode, like stasis mode, and it's like artificially induced coma type thing. And
Mhm.
you know what they do? There's some laser device. It's sewn into the fabric of this particular. It's a crazy construction thing. It's like the arm. Imagine the metallic arm comes out of the wall and literally slits the body in the middle. The body is very like multi-layered energy, because when you touch it, you can penetrate it with your finger, and it cuts it, and then they take the essence, which is like mostly in the chest, but then it goes and forms like a bulb in the head, and then they just pull it out, and it looks kind of rather, the milky color in the middle, and then the golden on the outside. That's how his soul looks like. But then the milky color changes into transparent, and then you becomes like a golden rim around. And that's pretty big because they pull out like a big container. It's like from nowhere, literally. Like it's in the wall. They have some system. Everything's in the wall. And they put this. It's like right on the table. Like he's here. There's a table here. And there's like a Draco standing here. There's a mantis standing here, and the little Draco actually was, but then he left. I think he's just like bringing something to them periodically. So basically, the Draco and the mantis are the ones. So the mantis are like doing his part of the research, putting some data in the computer. But he puts it like, I don't even see a computer in the room. I mean, he just holds this glass iPad type thing, transparent glass piece. And he just, he did something like with his little claws on the, touched it somewhere. It's just like he swipes and there are pictures, and he does something. He doesn't type, he just clicks everywhere. Yeah, because there's already options about the soul, parameters and everything, and how they can possibly use it. And then he puts it in a metallic container and puts it on this, this thing comes out of the wall, literally, like a little tiny table. He puts the container in metal and just slides it, and it disappears. And I see it on the other side of the wall. There's like a room where they put this glass container was his soul in some devices. It looks like a centrifuge, and the centrifuge would have like a green gas, yellow gas, a metallic looking fluid. It's almost like some yeah, it's like imagine if metal became liquid, it's like if silver became liquid. They fill up the container with that kind of liquidy silver. It's literally, the color of it is like sparkly gray, like metal color. And they look how the soul reacts, and how it shrinks, and how it doesn't have, it's asleep. It's like you cannot do anything about it. Whatever they do to you, it just is. You can't move, you're in paralysis type thing. I see them trying to split it into halves, but every time they do, it grows back together, which is pretty interesting, because they put like this bright, like very bright fluorescent purple type fluid in the container, and it's like literally cut it, split the soul into halves, but then it grew back together. And this particular snake person, I keep seeing this face. This is really crazy. I'm trying to describe it. So it looks like a heart shape on top. It goes down at the bottom. It's got snake eyes, like literally like snakes, you see. It's got the little snout with like long tail. Oh, the long tongue like the snakes have. And he's got a human type body. More like a lizard body, but he stands like a human on his back legs. And he's the one who's doing all this research, and he's putting something. Here he got a real computer, It's like a monitor.
Twisted?
Yeah, like a computer that we know, typical computer PC, but it's like sticking out of the wall. The screen is levitating, but I see some energy blue cord connected to the wall. And he's just doing some manipulations with his hand. His hand only got 3 fingers. And the computer, it's like connected to his consciousness, but he just like swipes. He puts the information in and swipes another page. Put the information in, swipes. And after that, I see a lot of containers, like 20 of them, in some big boxes divided into 20 squares. And they put these containers to the spacecraft. The Dracos came by first. And then they literally like fly away. And I see them at some, they call it space station. It's like the astro level platform, but it looks like a big building, genetic center or something.
Okay.
It looks like a big building made out of light, literally. And right there, they have this big, white, bright light, white room, and they basically just write, there's like a paper document that they write for each soul of those 20. In each soul, it's like they put the container with a soul on each of the 20 documents, and then they pick something. There's a big screen. It's almost like they pick by parameters what kind of family they would want this particular soul to incarnate is. And it also has it's like they write down what kind of programs this particular soul can be applied, or can be capable of conducting or used for, stuff like that. Because there's only one page, but that's the initiation of so yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting what they're doing. And then I see him being literally put into some wormhole portal type thing. Before they do that, they put, there's a huge machine. It's like on the floor. I don't even see the bottom of the floor. It's all like made out of like bright light. The machine looks very white, plasticky. They put it inside, and I understand it projects there's some projection, like a 3D hologram around that soul that looks like a ball right now, like energy ball. And it covers it with layers of programming, because it spins it like this, the opposite way, like this again. And there's like 8 layers of, and soul becomes bigger that way, which is weird, the whole thing, because they coded up with some programs that they needed to be programmed with at the time of the physical birth in the physical body. And then they put it into the that vortex that we call the wormhole, and it just goes straight to the family. And the family is, it came to me like Malaysia, and then there was South Africa one too, Cambodia, Uruguay. There's so many of them. And then there is Poland, Hungary, Belarus even. It's crazy. It's all over the place. But I see 18 of them, and this is 19's life.
19th?
Yes. Because before that he had 18. This is number 19.
And yeah, and I thought he came here because he wanted to, you know, like it's called
Yeah, he wanted to, but he got caught. Like most of us who wanted to, or,
yeah, like trying to help, but then
Yeah, he's trying to help, but he got captured like a prisoner because basically the whole universe is like a prison now. There's some places they didn't really conquer yet much, but they're planning to, because if you go through timelines, there's like levels of control, let's say, right? Some of
yeah,
them they're just observing,
yeah,
others they just infiltrating slowly,
yeah,
and others they cannot really infiltrate, or they can only observe because of the high vibration of the protection around the planet due to high vibrational beings living on it, and the essence of the planet is very high in vibration too. So it just depends, but the majority of it was like basically Draco Reptilian Alliance announced this universe being theirs. Like they always do. They're very quick at doing this kind of stuff. So let me see. So he goes back to. He says there's something in his childhood that he says that he was around 5. He would see beings.
in this life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then he says that when he was 3, he remembers a gray showed up by his bed, and
Great.
he would like a gray alien.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think it's because the short one. I see it. I see him literally talking to him and saying, "Do you want to play with me?" Because you don't want to. It was like at night when he couldn't sleep, and he gives him his hand, and he takes his. So his physical body remains in bed, but he takes his astral body, his energy body out, and then just go. He takes him to the spacecraft. I see there is a lot of like ant-looking beings, but they're light gray, and they're all around walking. It says, "Don't be afraid of them." I just want to show you a room that you can play with. And I see him sitting on this like metal floor of the spaceship in a little round room, and he's playing with some. It's like different metals and rocks of different shapes. And as he's doing that, it's almost like this is actually a Draco ship, but they're using it to see how it's almost like how the consciousness is being adapted to this life, because he hasn't been for too long here. He's still doing the adaptation, and they're still thinking how we can implement everything we thought of, like using him for and things like that. Because he did sign some contract without even knowing he did, when he agreed for this gray to be taking him periodically to that room where they would scan the progress of his understanding about things and his abilities, characteristics as a child, how he can perceive, what intuition he has, whether he can see different dimensions, whether he has telekinetic abilities or things like that. Because I see him him being scanned by invisible light when he's playing. And then he would just take him back to the body, and there would be the morning and he would need to wake up.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
does his conscious know about this? Like his conscious mind?
no,
No.
no, his conscious mind, no, it's only subconscious that he would take the energy body. Yeah. It's like consciously he's not aware, he doesn't remember this stuff. I'm trying to see what. It's almost like because there's some rotting system in his body, there's just an implant on the head, and then there is a rod on the back of the head going down the spine. And then there's interesting thing is there, like a little triangles. There's a group of triangles, they're all bunched up together. There are like 6 or 7 of them. And it seems like they go to different parts of the body. They migrate, type thing. They may cause discomfort in one part of the body, but then they would shift to another. And that part would get a relief, but then the other part would start having like funny feeling. I also see some sort of like space boots on his feet. They look. They also look like those like inflatable boots. I don't know how to explain. They're puffies.
What inflated poop?
No, the puffy. You know, like
Ah,
the moon boots. You know the moon boots
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, those are like
Puffy
that. Puff. Yeah,
comes
I don't know how
down
to
abruptly.
inflatable look like inflated was. I don't
Okay.
know. Whatever they are. Yeah. They're dark. They're black down his feet. These triangles. What are they used for? He's participating in some sort of research because they're screening parts of his body at different periods of his life. So sometimes the triangles, 7 of them bunched up together, would remain, let's say, in the heart area. Then would remain there for a couple of years or for 1 year. And then they would move to the spinal cord, closest there where the rod is. The rod is there, it's like overlays the spinal cord, which is like the central electric system, so they could send any impulses, they could control the hormonal production, but it's mostly that they don't care about hormone production anymore because he passed that kind of like puberty time, but they would rather inject. There's a little thing, so this rod has an opening. It's right on the back of the neck. And
I'm sorry, I didn't listen. You said rod? Rod? Like
it's like
fishing
a rod.
rod?
No, ROD, like a stick type thing.
Ah, okay. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And it has the opening, and they would just inject some different substances. I see some interesting thing that they would inject. It's like a transparent gel with little red dots in it. And it's I just like literally see it going into the system, and it's almost like a transparent it's like a transparent worm. That's the best way I can describe it. And it disbalances the like impulses, and then it would go when it goes to the brain. You would just keep it at the certain. How to explain it? It would keep it at a certain low vibrational state. Let's say that he would get like fixated in one on one particular thought or one particular program or problem, which he perceives as a problem in his life, that he has to fix, but he can't really figure out how to. And in between, it's like all different nanotechnologies. I don't even see this particular worm in him right now. I just see the triangles because they took that one out when they took him. They periodically, like once in 3 to 5 months, they would take him on the spacecraft and do the research, different research on him. Let me see why they actually do this particular thing. And something related to the consciousness of a different, coming from a different universe. He comes from some golden universe. He calls it golden light, gold light universe. And it's like the structure of his essence is quite different. It's almost like each tiny particle or cell, it's more like composed of a light atom that is like pure light, and inside I got like a golden spark. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to figure out how to make the soul, how to make it exist separately, like how to split it up, how to fragment it, and why, how come it always grows together so they can't really fragment it to use it for different programs. They can only use it for 1 or 2 programs at a time. You understand, right? They cannot really fragment it and put pieces of it, let's say, into different clones or something. Yeah, that's what they're trying to figure out. So he called all of them. I mean, there's some gray standing in his area, in his energy sphere now too. So you see those tall reptilians, short reptilians, grays, and then that mantis that was at the lab, he showed up too.
So there are 5.
6, 7, it's like 8 standing in front. And he asks them for the contract. And actually that mantis is the one who has all the contracts. So he brought the one in charge is the one of those 3 tall ones, because he has slight different spots. It's almost like they have a pattern on their heads. As I understand, this one has a pattern. It's a different rectangle, triangular, octagon type pattern, and that's how they recognize them as like higher in hierarchical structure that those Alpha Draconians have. And he's the one who is like in charge of this particular project. But they always it's like a fleet thing, they always go by 5. So that's what they do. They just come in 5 different spacecrafts. They surround somebody who comes to help, let's say, and they fixate them by that plasma shooting devices, and that's exactly what they've done with him too. But right now he's showing, and there's like literally 1 page, and I'm telling him to bring the files from the computer at this base that they took him to. and I see that like a hologram. Imagine I see a cube, holographic cube made out of green light, and inside it has some reddish color. It's almost red, but it's lighter than red color folder. It is said that that's the folder. That's the one that we keep all the information on him, all the research we've done. And subconscious of your brother, he opens it like this. And he goes through it it's like 25 different pages of it. And then he also holds this paper copy. Paper copy is mostly about, see what they've done. They basically, all those 18 lives before this one, as I understand, they put together kind of like a life plan, but it's almost the same life plan, because I feel like it says there at the very bottom in small print, to struggle in order to get experience.
Yeah.
And he didn't really sign it. He just had to agree because he had no other option.
Mm-hmm.
And they put like a little imprint of his energy imprint on at the bottom, like a signature. It's almost like a dent of his own energy pattern that they put. So he just putting them into this one big bowl, heats it up with his hands. From his hands like comes fire. It's a green blue fire, and molds it, destroys it all, puts it through the portal, draws like a square door in there. That's the portal he uses, closes it. Then he says, well, now I have to take all the implants out. So he takes the one from the head. Looks like an oval disc.
Does he have a lot of implants, or?
I see those major ones. The implants that the nanotechnology little pyramid in shape type ones that are like clearly 7 together.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that move. They constantly on the move in the body. The stationary ones are the one in the head, through which they influence his thoughts or his decision making. And he took that one out. Looks like a metal plate. It's oval. And then there is like a stick on the back of his in his spinal cord. And it just, you know what it does? It constantly emits some sort of signals, some sort of vibration to make him, and he's tired of it. His subconscious says that he's tired of it, because it's like he's trying to be positive or, happy, but they would always try to suppress that in him, so he would go more into like hideout mode, or better not to bother mode type thing.
Yeah. He asked me that he has a lot of negative thoughts, like kind of all the time. When he wants something, there is negative thought, and he wonders why is that? Maybe it was the
That's
implant.
the implant. That's
Yeah.
the implant, because they influence it. And also, like, imagine your whole central nervous system is overtaken by the impulses that are low vibrational. So no
Yeah.
matter what you really feel in your heart coming from your soul, it will get suppressed by that emission of the waves.
Yeah. Okay.
So you kind of like feel heavy and down. So he took that one out. He took those moon boots out um, from his feet, and those are the ones to make him feel like he cannot move ahead. He has hard time making decisions, or even not even sure what he wants to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
that's the one thing he asked me about.
yeah,
He's so kind of in between the decision, kind of can't decide.
right. Yeah, well, that's done on purpose. Was the wave emission and the boots, and those triangles right now they're in the stomach. They're almost forming like a web in the stomach of that feeling that corresponds to this low vibration is like unsure and fear, like not being sure or not trusting yourself or believing in yourself, like low self-esteem type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, feeling.
that's the program, right? It's a
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
It's
deepest
like,
one, I guess.
yeah, imagine. It's like, imagine I saw a big energy triangle, and then I
Yeah.
look closer, it's composed of seven little triangles. And they penetrate any organ, then they separate, they spread, they disperse, they get attached to the mucous membranes of this organ or to the sides of it, and they connect with each other through shooting waves of energy, and
Mm.
and they make a web, like a spider web, literally made out of those energy connecting. And that's when they form, according to the programs inside of them, they would form certain feeling. It's always low vibrational. But then he's showing me that, oh look, like I got this strange looking snowflakes inside, and I mean those are like chakra overlays,
Oh,
and he just like clicks them off, off. You know, like they were clicked on literally on the energy
no.
centers.
That that's just saying like he's removing the chakra points.
He's removing the chakra overlays,
Okay.
yeah, artificially created, because his energy body is like whole and one. It has to circulate as one. There's no division, really. You can divide it for yourself, but he has to function as a one organism. So he took those out. So basically, I see this big pile in front of him, and he's drawing this orange, bright orange door. He says it's a good, happy color. Portal. And
Mm.
he throws out this metal disc, the stick, the triangles, and the boats, and the chakra relays. So, like, in there.
Mhm.
So they fell down,
That
and then
that
he,
means he had already the chakra points that never really removed them, right?
yeah, he removed them now, and
Uh, just
he,
now, but he had before.
he did.
Uh,
Yeah,
I,
because they look like snowflakes, but they're very flexible snowflakes. If you understand, it's like a spider makes a web, and I think those got formed back again because of the other implants, or because it's like it's part of the alien technology implantation system. So if a body is somehow interfered, they would put them back. I mean,
Mhm.
if you remove something, you have to remove all of it. Because if something is left behind, or you get, your whatever entities you got rid of, if they get a chance to reconnect to you, they would bring all the implants back as if you never taken them off. I mean, the old interference would come back. Well, sometimes new, but I see a lot of old beings that would try to come back. And
Okay.
So he orders those, the group, the mantis, the gray, the three of those little dragos, and the tall ones, three of tall ones too, into the portal. So they all went through and closed it. So now he's giving information to all the members of this crew of the spaceship that he was on. So 480. Let's see. So they got the information. 98% of it, of them accepted it. So I understand 2% just lights up for me that they don't really know what to do with it. They're not at that consciousness level to be able to use it yet. And he goes to that moment when he goes through the central sun portal.
Yeah.
And he just cuts out that moment when the Jago ships surround him, his spacecraft, like as if it never happened. He changes the timeline, and he just goes by himself to Earth. So the other interference just falls off on its own. Genetic material they used to take from him, because in his case they didn't really do any cloning stuff. The clones, for some reason, had a hard time draining some energy or connecting to him. And that's something about the essence again of the soul. But they did. He participated in a hybridization program. And I see number 22. So apparently, 22 hybrids they created with his DNA. I feel like there's a huge tunnel underneath. It's actually on Earth. It goes all the way down. It's very close to the essence of Earth. That's when they keep the hybrids in the underground somewhere. I can't really pinpoint. I'm so down where it is. I feel like it's under the ocean floor somewhere. So he just goes there, and he says, no, that's not the way. Because I'm just gonna go to the moment when they collected my DNA and all the timelines in all those 18 lives, and forbid them from doing it to me, from taking it from me. And that's what he does. He goes there and he literally erases the moments when they would come. And then imagine I see that tunnel with hybrids 22, and then all of a sudden the whole thing becomes blank and black, as if they never existed really. So he changed that too for himself. And then I'm asking him, do you want the original DNA of human? Because there's some 7.8 or 9% actually of this Draco DNA they infused into him.
Draco?
Yeah, like Alpha Dracos, yeah. They infused DNA into his original DNA to be able to better control him, and they wanted him to be more like aggressive type with negative thoughts, and
Yeah.
so they did slowly. They infuse little by little, percentage grows throughout the life, each and every life, because they want people to be more like them. That's why reptilian brain and all this,
Yeah.
conquer and possess and all these ideas. So he changes it. He takes out those bright red pubes from his DNA. From his DNA is like golden, like liquid gold. It's hard to describe how it goes, but I see it's almost like it's an emotion. It's like you would take water, make it golden, and it would just be in constant flow, but it's in a flow like this. That's what
Like
I
a DNA.
see.
That's the
Yeah, like DNA, but it's more like it has 14 of those lines like this.
14.
Yeah, like this, constantly going. But he says, don't go by number. He said, I
Okay.
can make them 114 if I wanted to. It's just that I needed 14 in particular to be able to do something about this conquering of Earth and Earth being a prison and kind of somehow help. But they totally suppressed. That's he's saying. He said that they totally suppressed my memories, my intentions, what I wanted to do, what I knew. The essence was closed up, so I couldn't retrieve any memories to even think about what I was supposed to do. And that's partially why I was in confusion all my life about what I need to do, because everything here is like a baby level for me. If you look at it from that kind of understanding, everything is boring and uninteresting. That's why it's hard to decide what I want to do also, because I know all of it already.
So that basically means he can do everything he wants, but
He can do everything he wants because he has done all this in his past. If we think of linear, he's gone through all the stages, and the level he was at before he came to Earth was much higher. It was all about blending energies, creation, co-creation, you know, how to program energies to form things, to self-replicate into beautiful things, stuff like that. He's showing me some flower patterns you can create, and the flower patterns would self-replicate, and those flowers would cover the entire planet and make everything smell like in a beautiful aroma. And the aroma by itself would cover everything with high vibrational field of energy, so nobody could even think of any negative thought or emotion. He's like that. So yes, it's hard to do this kind of stuff here because it's so thick, and the energy is just so hard to deal with and manifest, and takes time and so much energy you have to put into manifestation. So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, says it's more about mental energy here than there. It was more about consciousness, thought, and emotion, and it just would make beautiful things right away. He can heal with energies too. I mean,
Can
he can
heal?
he yeah, he can heal with his voice, I feel like, with intention, because his DNA, he has this golden light to it. It's like when he speaks, he doesn't know this, he doesn't realize. From like he can put person at ease or feel calm around him, protected, things like that. But I'm just reading the characteristics of his DNA. That's what. It's normal. We all can heal, basically. We all come from different star systems or
Yeah,
universes. I'm just saying that there's something about the vibration that he creates with
yeah.
his inner, because like soul comes through your voice type thing too. And You can do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So he did
now,
that.
how do you see him? Okay, tell me.
He's actually, as you were speaking, he started working on his energy bodies. Like, he pulled out his mantle. He literally, like, pulled it out. He looked at it. He
Yeah.
says, oh, that's just a little kind of like, you have to clean it. He created like a mitten for his hand, like the mitten that you would clean something with, like a car. And he
Yeah.
starts cleaning it, like throwing it out like this, cleaning his mental body, and then he pulls out emotional body too and does the same.
Mhm. Just
Emotional is pink, and the mental is more like yellow. That's what I see, transparent yellow, transparent pink. Because in terms of emotions, he wants it to be calmness and love and things like that, like at ease. He wants ease in his life. He's
yeah,
tired of being um, almost like anxious about and scared a bit inside about
yeah.
doing things.
Mhm. And now, now he wanna like in physically he wanna go out. He wanna explore the world, but it just doesn't allow him. He tries, but it just always gets canceled. Maybe it was the
Yeah.
program or the
Um. Yeah. Well, he had those boots on, right? And
oh
those are
those
where
boots.
implants. And yeah, those were implants. He was controlled completely. Remember that paper, right? The life plan. The
Yeah.
life plan said that, well, they would rather keep him single, they would rather have him alone, they would rather have him not move too far, things like that. I mean, it was all written on the plan. There's different scenarios of it, because they can't completely shut down your free will. But they can totally put obstacles for you, let's say, traveling or moving to a different country, or you know, even marrying somebody. They can put obstacles, no problem for them. Because
Mhm.
they walked into your energy sphere, like your house, and they start moving furniture. They start moving events in your life for you not to accomplish something you would like to. And that's what they were doing with him. So nothing would fit in, you know. Nothing would come like
Yeah.
true if he wanted to.
Mhm. Like honestly, his conscious mind feels so lost. Like
He's
he
lost.
doesn't even know like to be with the lot of people, with the group or just alone. He doesn't even know
Mm-hmm.
what's right.
Yeah, it's just that feeling. Your soul always takes like a snapshot almost, or a screenshot memory of that time when he got captured. He got captured in this emotional state of shock, what happened? And then blank, they just literally erased his memory, put him in stasis, and he's like in that all his life. He's disoriented. What am I doing here? What am I supposed to do here? Why am I here? You know? So he's just all confused. And that's exactly how they wanted, they mostly want all of us to be, so we can figure out how to get out of this trap we call matrix, or.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's astral matrix that deceives you too, with all these angels and spirit guides and whatnot. The new age, new religion teaches us that people call it new age.
New
So
Age.
yeah, it's like a new religion you believe in and you follow the rules. And remember, whenever you follow the rules or have to, it's against the soul's nature to follow any rules. Every single one
Yeah,
of us has his
any.
own rules, right? For ourselves, it's like we act as we feel. We act as our intuition tells us. Or what is our intuition? It's our soul speaking to us. So
Mm. And his soul, his subconscious wanna travel or wanna do what in this world, like
mm,
here.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, I think he would like to observe, explore. That's one of his characteristics in nature also, because he'd like to connect to like-minded people. But his subconscious tells him that he can observe. He doesn't need to necessarily become, get close to those people, but for him,
mhm,
it's interesting to observe this world because it still feels new to him. New, different. He doesn't understand most of the things. And for him to understand, that's why his desire to kind of travel and see, explore a bit, you know.
yeah. And he asked me about he I, I don't know. He feels like he must must help people, you know. He feels that, but he doesn't know how, and everything else also doesn't allow him to do anything, like to find his way.
Yeah, it's because that's pretty much what he does. He travels to different, see the word travels, he wants to travel. He travels to different universes to, he basically tries to save galaxies, races. I see sometimes he would take the entire race on board of his spacecraft if their planet would get destroyed by AI or by reptilians, rapers, insectoids, whatever race is
Mm,
malevolent. Um, and then that's inside of his soul. His feeling, his essence is basically communicating this feeling of, or memory that he used to help. He used to travel in order to help. He would have to travel. So all those things, he just let out bubble up to the surface, and before he didn't know how to interpret them because he just simply didn't remember. But I think his memories are slowly going to be coming back, and he would start remembering.
okay. And right now, they, my brother, they live in one apartment, but they don't like the apartment. Like, can you see something there?
You know what I saw? I saw some white looking kind of snakes, and then I saw like a prison cell. It's almost like they feel imprisoned in there. And I feel like that apartment has been used for keeping somebody against his will inside, like a prisoner. And
Mm,
that's the feeling I get when in there. It's almost like the energy doesn't circulate in it, and the snakes are connected to the another apartment next to it, but they go through the wall and they start crawling inside
mm,
of their apartment too. Because it's a strange looking thingy. It has one body and three snakes coming out of that one body. It's like a hybrid of some sort. And that the person living behind that wall, I see this bed by the wall, and I see the snakes coming from that particular wall. And behind that wall, there's people, a person. I see person actually. One, not very nice, spiritual, emotional, always like low vibrational person. And that's why it's almost like this person, he shoots the snakes to their apartment to make them low vibrational, to feel them low vibration more, because they have such dissonance. He's too low, they're higher. He has hard time even breathing, like I'm feeling uncomfortable next to some people sometimes. That's how that person feels, I feel. And but your brother now, he's just expanding his energy sphere, putting like mentally protection on that wall. Snakes are out, and the whole apartment just lights up with light. He lights it up, and he paints the wall golden color. He says, well, with that color, like everything is bright and happy and positive. And he said, I just want to be calm and decisive. That's all I want. And
A lot?
that's like he wants to be calm
Yeah.
and decisive, like
Mm.
make decisions easily for
Like,
himself.
be sure for himself.
Right. And that's why
Mm.
he painted the walls this color, golden, this reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how do you see him, and does he have something to tell you, or what?
If he wants to tell his physical part,
Yeah, because he's so kind of stupid.
little by little, start trusting and believing in yourself. Little by little, don't have to do much. And that belief would make you invincible, would make you protected. The belief in ourselves and in our power is the most important thing at this level of existence you're at.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm. So,
And he, his physical, his consciousness made made a little bit tattoo. Uh, I don't know that means something to him, for his consciousness, but it doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah, well, his subconscious says it belongs to the body. It's like you put a different suit on every time you go out, or different clothes.
so it just doesn't matter.
Mm. No, unless you put belief into it that it matters. He says, you know what? It's like a magic wand, your belief. If you look at the rose and it's dying, right? If you start believing that it's gonna blossom again, it would, just because of your belief. If you believe that this rock that you picked up on the street would bring you luck if you carry it around in your pocket, if you just strongly believe it will without any doubt, it would bring you luck. You know, that's what he.
In the luck.
Yeah, luck. Good luck. I mean,
Mm.
basically, we activate anything with our belief. If we believe, we're gonna get sick because this person sneezed at us. It
Yeah.
just came to me, we would get sick. It would be psychosomatic, but we would definitely get sick. But
Yeah.
if we believe that we're always healthy, we'll always be healthy. It's all about your belief. Or some people put a bracelet around their wrist and say, this bracelet's gonna bring me so much luck, I'm always gonna be happy. And guess what? It actually gonna bring him luck and happiness because he puts all his energy of belief into this particular object.
Okay.
So it just works like that. Whatever you
Yeah.
believe in.
Okay.
So if he doesn't have any questions, I ask him if he.
I already asked so many
I
questions.
already asked. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the one thing that like his subconscious wanna wanna tell, let's say, what, like, it's honestly, he's so lost right now. He's so lost.
Well, he's gonna. His subconscious says that he has to work on himself
On
at the
himself,
physical
right?
level.
Okay.
He has
So
to work on this, because all the work that's been done at the etheric level right now is going to be calming down.
yeah,
And he just has to,
accept them, like allow them.
yeah, allow it to come through. And also notice what kind of reactions he has to certain things, what kind of thoughts he has. And as he's a creator, he can transform any thought or any emotion because he's the one who creates them in the first place. Right now, no implants would create any negative thoughts for him. So if he gets one, it would be coming from his own self as a creative being. And since he's the one who creates that energy of that thought, he can uncreate it. He can transform it into energy of, compassion, love, or anything good. Or he can just transform it into a butterfly and would fly away, or throw it in the portal as an energy, a snowball, kind of put it
Okay.
together and throw it out. So he can manipulate and just by his imagination, he can do a lot of stuff because our imagination is the tool that the soul uses to help us transform things at this physical level, to help us understand things. So he just can't do the same things he used to do before the session. He has to change the way and to change, he has to talk to himself. Every time he has like a thought, oh, I'm confused, I can't decide, then tell himself the opposite. Tell himself, I'll slowly figure out. I can decide. I can figure things out. I can try them out. There's no big deal if I just tried something out and it didn't work. Then my subconscious, just trust in it, would bring me another solution. But because at the physical level, you always have to move. You have to physically do something to achieve your goal. You can't just sit around and hope, that it would come to you, or be, scared or something, undecisive about taking the first step. There's always the first step, and then the other steps would just come easily. That's what he needs to do.
Okay. I get,
Okay. Yeah, well, if that's all, then I can disconnect and
yeah.
talk.
Uh, the his conscious mind, kind of, he was so indecisive in between the decision, and also he doesn't know what to do. But after that, kind of happened to me, happened to him, that
Mm.
he got a got a disease, like it's STD,
What is that? Sorry.
STD.
I don't understand.
It,
STD.
it it means sexual transmitted disease. So
Uh,
he's kind of so ashamed of that and also so worried about that.
yeah, but it was done because he was participating in some research. He
Okay.
was participating in the. Remember, I told you on the spacecraft that would take him. They would
Yeah.
insert chemical substances and
Yeah.
different things to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thing is just like comes and goes, as I understand with him. It used to certain conditions would come, but then they would go and another one starts up. But it's all related to the research that we're doing and changing and switching constantly.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay. Now, can you see his mother?
yeah.
How does she look?
Um. Yeah, I see there is some interesting being behind her. He's green and tall and long, skinny, and sometimes he holds like the strange thing he's doing. He is like putting like a screen in the shape of a leaf in front of her face
Mhm.
sometimes for her to see a different reality or see things from a different perspective. So she would not be understood or she would not be able to understand others. And that being is like God attached to her from her own planet. She was creating some new beings, and something went wrong. And then she took that being and was on this spacecraft searching for somebody to help her out. That's what I perceived from her. And then she got deceived. They told her that at the Earth level they would help her with that, and she started incarnating by herself also with that being.
By herself, incarnate, did you say?
No, no, no,
In
no.
this world?
In this world, yeah, yeah. She's got this being. It looks like it's composed of green leaves. The screen he has in his hand. I mean, I can't really go in details into this one because it's like a separate session, the whole thing, the story, and
Mm.
but yeah, he does something with interfacing reality. It's like I feel like she's unable because of him read the reality the way we perceive it. That he makes it look distorted for her, and he's not like
Because
soup
of his blockage or because of his
because his presence in her energy sphere, and I feel there was something that she was doing at some research center on her planet creating beings, and there's something went wrong with this being or something like this, and they wanted to probably kill him off, because he was not functional, and she took him on a spacecraft and started like literally like driving around the universe, trying to figure out on what planet she can find a solution to change him. But for that she needed specific DNA to infuse into him. Something like this, because she comes up as a scientist to me.
so that means when she was here, his son, the soul just came just to her, like directly.
Mm, she
So
brought him with her. She
she,
brought him with her. Yes. Mm, yeah. She was literally on a capsule looking spacecraft with that being, and she goes to some portal. In front of the portal there's like a gate.
mm,
In front of the gate I see two little grays standing, and they're like saying, well, to incarnate on this planet, you need to sign the contract. It's like,
Mm.
oh, so basically, what your brother is doing, he just gives her like a book of information so she can read it and
Mm.
liberate herself because
Ah, wow. Yeah, that really makes sense now. Okay.
mm, yeah, so she was just basically too nice to save defective being, let's say, like sometimes it happens in research, right? Things don't go well. That's what I perceive about her story.
Yeah, yeah. That's not that good. What you said.
Yeah,
Okay. Roxana, I'm done.
yeah,
Uh,
okay,
yeah,
good. Okay, perfect. I'm coming out now.
right. But the before I wanna say my brother he doesn't wanna let my mother know everything. It's just about his stuff, and
And
that makes sense, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Okay,
Love us, but kind of loving prison kind of stuff.
right, for sure. Okay, let me
But
turn up the recording rate.